I'm here to show you how to launch a fresh server for video post-editing using some of our NVIDIA powered servers. Share my screen real quick and show you how simple it is to get a bare metal server into your environment so that you can start playing with video editing quickly. Here we are on the Equinix Metal portal in a fresh project with no servers launched so that we can see how everything works. I'm going to go ahead and launch a new on-demand instance. These are by the hour. Very easy to consume. It is very cloudy metal. It's a private server, no hypervisor, no agent, private to you, and nobody else has access to the data or the server itself. We have lots of different types of servers to choose from in our inventory. Today, we're going to focus on the X2 Extra Large. It has 6 NVIDIA T4s, lots of power for editing and other video options. We have lots of operating systems to choose from to make life easy. Today, we're going to focus on Windows. We go ahead and license a Server 2019 for you to make it easy. You can launch one or many. I'm just going to pull one today. For those that really love automation, you can add user data. You can put PowerShell scripts, cloud init data, and have use automation tools like Terraform, Ansible, Chef, or Puppet to launch your server if you don't want to use the portal. And we have easy rack rates. It's predictable pricing, easy to consume. But if you know that you're going to use these for longer periods of time than just hours or days, you can get reservations of servers, save some money, and guarantee that this machine is always yours. So here we're going to launch one now. And behind the scenes, in one of our premium IBXs, we have a rack that has 2 top-of-rack switches, redundant pathing for everything, including power. We have a private out-of-band network for management that gives you access to the console. And right now, we're just waiting on our Windows image to stream to the server while it boots up. But remember, once you launch a server, we're not involved anymore. We try not to be in the way so you can do your own maintenance management and update. But when you launch an image, it's as fresh as it can be. We keep them up to date. We also work with some partners to help with images as well. So some partner supplied images are updated very, very often. They don't sit and get stale.
Once it's finished, one thing to note is the password is like right at the top of the compute. Once you click on that link, so make sure you copy and save it in your password manager. And then what I also did is once I log in, I went ahead and changed the admin password.
Yes.
So I highly recommend for customers who are doing this for the first time, make sure you change the password right away.
Yep. Standard security practices apply here. Change your password, update your server, make sure you're the latest and greatest with your own eyes.
So this is our Equinix Metal environment that we stood up in the first segment of this series. And as you can see, we've got a bare metal server that assigns an inside and outside IP address. I have lots of memory, lots of disk, and even a Tesla T4 video card. So now that we've got that built out, now I can connect to it via RDP. Once I click on my RDP client and log in, now I've got my full-blown server ready to go. Now, in order to make this a PC over IP device, I just need to install my agent. So I've downloaded the agent off of the docs.teradici.com site. And then I'm going to run the agent install. Once that agent install is done, I will be able to connect up to this via PC over IP. Now I can click through the defaults, get the install going. When it's all done, I'll see the icon down here in the tray. And at that point, after a reboot, all I'll need to do is launch my Teradici client, and I'll be able to connect up to this. After I do that, I'll show you some of the specs of the NVIDIA T4 card and some of the driver things that we ran into that will make it easier for you when you do the install, such as drivers and license server for the grid aspect and things like that that you'll get from NVIDIA. So now I've got my Teradici client installed. I'm going to go to licensing, and we should be licensed. I've already added that in. There we go. And now I'm going to disconnect from this via RDP. I will reboot that server. And then I'll be able to launch my Teradici client. And as you can see, I have two. I have my production Azure desktop, and then I have my Equinix Metal desktop. All I've done here is add in the external IP address of the host on Equinix Bare Metal, named it, and then I can click connect. Okay, so now that I have my agent installed, I put in the IP address. I'm now going to log in with my credentials and launch the PC over IP client, make my connection up to the bare metal server that we have. All right, so now we have our connection over PC over IP to our bare metal machine in Equinix. You can see it looks and feels exactly the same. My agent is installed. I've got a demo for you for the next segment using Blender and some sample files there. But for the moment, I'd like to get into what the NVIDIA install looked like. So I'll tell you, installing the grid license for Windows, and then along with that, when you log into the NVIDIA site to get your license, there is a additional downloads button. You'll click on that, and there will be a license server for Windows that you can run. Once you have that up and running, then you can go in, and there's a couple of services that you want to make sure have started. So the Tomcat engine, which is what's running the licensing manager component for the NVIDIA. And then also we have a FNE server, the FlexNet license server. You'll want to make sure that service is running. The gotcha there was which version of Java. We used the OpenJDK version and didn't have any issues, but I've seen that service fail to start with the wrong version of the Oracle Java. So just something to watch out for. Now that we have connected up to our machine, we have the disposal of the full power of that T4 NVIDIA card to run things like Blender, things like Avid Media Composer, things like Adobe Premiere, all of the really high-end graphics engines that we might want to use. I can open up a sample, and what we'll do in the next video is I'll get deeper into the ins and outs of this video and play it for you. And make sure to do all of the NVIDIA drivers and all of the NVIDIA licensing before you install the PC over IP client. It will make your life much easier. In this video, I'm going to touch on some of the prereqs and requirements and gotchas that we ran into, whether it was from the NVIDIA grid licensing or the when to install the Teradici client at what point. And then what I'll do is I will start showing you what some of the, the real power of having something that can do full 1080p, 60 frames per second in a virtual machine with 8-bit color depth. It is just spectacular, the difference that you can see. I have a video going here that's something you can catch on YouTube that just goes into more depth around some of the components and some of the new features, the ultra auto offload of PC over IP. When we first started, we had to make sure we had the NVIDIA grid licensing done. So we went to NVIDIA, we asked for an eval license. They got that to us, within an hour, we were able to go log in. So now if we go to just the local host and /license server on 8080, you'll see that we have an interface for the NVIDIA where we can upload our license, add and remove, things like that. So I can manage everything from here. If this doesn't work or something doesn't look right, turns out it's the Java version that you have installed. So just to give you a heads up there. Now, once we have all of that complete, We've got the NVIDIA drivers. We have the license service running. We are fully up to speed. You'll see that if I open the NVIDIA control panel, typically, if I don't have the correct license installed, it's just going to show these first two links. You kind of know you have it all set up correctly when you see all of the options that are available to you. So just wanted to kind of cover some of the prereqs and some of the gotchas that we ran into setting up this environment. Now, once I have this environment set up, now I can leverage the power of having a bare metal server with the Tesla T4 video card at my disposal. You saw that 1080p video running flawlessly. I can also run applications like Blender. And with Blender, I'm going to see a depth of color that is far beyond anything I will ever get with any other protocol from a remote use case. So PC over IP gives me 8-bit color depth. It gets me, 30 to 60 frames per second. It gets me multiple monitors in 4K. All of these things just give an end-to-end user experience that is bar none more performant than anything I've ever seen.